And God gave him an answer he didn't want. Yet,
Most main thing that I got from that was that God proves us of the things in our lives that shouldn't be there, so that growth can come. Sometimes you have to do that tree, you do it in nature, and sometimes we have to do it as human beings. So I wanted to do all that to preface to show I know the basic thing. If you didn't get much from that, you should have gotten the fact that sometimes we gotta wait for what God tells us to do. Now we can do it our own way and move how we want to move, and sometimes you get mixed results with that. So I just wanted to make sure that I encourage you guys to just pray about it, because each one of you is going to be impacted individually on something that you can do personally. Everybody can't do the same thing. Some of us don't have the ability to do all the things as one collective group, but you can do some things individually that starts in your household. So just take it like that, pray about that, and then as we just keep putting one step, one foot in front of the other, over time, I think we'll be able to see the fruits of our labor. So without further ado, man, we're gonna dive into the show. I wanted to say something. I have been hearing in some of the comments that they said they didn't have sound. However, I don't know why they don't have the sound, but I do know that even after the show is over, when you share it, you'll be able to hear the whole video. I don't know, the only thing that's hurting us now is that if they can't hear the sound, they can't be interactive live. But once I share the show, they'll be able to watch it. Don't really know what's going on with that. But y'all can hear it, and the show, I don't want to keep stopping it, because I do know you're going to be able to hear it. Once we finish and share it, you're going to be able to hear it. They'll just have to go back and watch it after the show's ended. Let's move on through the show, man. Of course, I wanted to start off with an introduction to the show. As the country is trying to ease its way back into operation from the coronavirus pandemic, we have been sideswiped by the unfortunate death of George Floyd at the hands of another police officer for actions that clearly did not warrant the excessive and ultimately deadly force used by the officer. Now, as the country lashes out in anger, we are still only entering phase 2 of the coronavirus pandemic and the government's slow reopening process of our country. So while we still deal with losses due to corona, we have an ongoing epidemic and fatal encounters by black men with the police that seem to be only growing in number and rate over the last few years. But I sincerely pray that while we push for law enforcement and white people in general to treat us fairly and with respect, can we simply start by doing the same for each other and end this violence against one another? That's my take on that as we get ready to start on the show. So of course, I'm gonna have, as we talk, I'm gonna bring up talking points. I'm gonna pass it around the panel, let them talk on, and have a few exercises that I did not tell them about, so that we can get authentic responses from them, true responses, not prepared, because I want you to just kind of see how they respond and answer certain questions, and you guys can be a part of this as well. But just moving on, of course, I wanted to kind of share information on the George Floyd in the officers, give you guys an update on what's going on with the officers. So as I pull that up, give me a second, because those charges have been upgraded. So let's see. Okay. Currently, right now, Derek Chauvin, that was the actual officer who actually had the knee on the neck of George Floyd. He's currently facing second-degree murder. That's moved up from the third-degree murder that originally was charged with. And those other officers, which is Lane, Queen, and Tao, they have been charged with aiding and abetting in second-degree manslaughter. It says that Chauvin, 44, was arrested last week and is being held at the Minnesota Department of Corrections facility in Oak Park. His bail was increased to $1 million Wednesday, court documents show. It says that Lane, Queen, and Tao were taken into custody Wednesday and are being held on $1 million bail. So on last week, I posed a question. And so this is the first interactive responses that I want from you guys. In my feelings, I felt before this case, and especially with this case, I felt that there was an unwritten rule, a handshake, or a winking of the eye with some upper echelon law enforcement departments, with the agencies, that allowed these officers to feel free to do the things they've been doing and being caught on camera with no regard to human life. I felt in my heart that if you know a camera's on you and you felt that you would be facing jail time, possibly life away from your family, you would be less prone to commit some of these acts of violence. So what the question I'm going to pose is, am I alone in my thinking? Do you feel that there's some underlying or unwritten handshake that's going on behind closed doors that has given those officers license when it's a gray area. And a lot of these times it's not even gray, it's very clear cut. But when it's a gray area where they can argue the defense of fearing for my life. So I'm gonna pass that question around to the panelists, but I'm gonna let Mr. George catch it first. Being an attorney, this is just a feeling. I mean, it's not nothing that's in stone. It's just something to get the conversation started. So you want to let everybody? Okay, cool. All right. Well, I'm gonna start on this end, and just see if you feel like that, or what do you think is going on, and why do you feel so free to do what they're doing to us blatantly and in front of cameras?
In my opinion, having graduated from Police Academy, the things that they teach you at Police Academy is shoot to kill. And one of the things, you know, people always say, why well, don't shoot to maim or whatever, and disable people. But the way the Police Academy teaches you is shoot to kill. You don't want nobody to come back after after you shoot someone. So I don't think that there is a handshake or anything that says anything about, them not being prosecuted. I think what has happened over time is that because police officers have been convicted for certain things, they feel like I can get away with it. And I think until that changes, you're gonna always have that mentality. And I've been seeing more and more in the news where these guys are really getting convicted of it. Not only that, the first thing that was going on is, it's been going on for years. It just wasn't captured on video. Now it's captured on video, you can actually see it. That's what's making it a lot more prevalent now than before.
Anybody else want to share their opinion about that? Anybody? Go ahead.
Hearing that's interesting that you said they train the police on shoot to kill, and I just want to say that, like you said, it's been happening forever, and now that everyone has access to technology and smartphones and all of that, a lot of that stuff is being captured, where you have hardcore video evidence, whereas in the past it was just a he said, or he said, she said, and majority of the time, the officers don't get the benefit of the doubt because they are supposed to be held to a higher standard. They're the ones that's supposed to be upholding the law. But I forget who said it, but it was some celebrity. They said it's been happening. It's just being filmed and caught on camera. And I think what a lot of people get lost with everything that's going on right now is all of this that's going on is much bigger than George Floyd or Breonna Taylor or anybody else. So some people are like, why does this get this much attention and not this or that? All of this that's protesting and all this, whether you think the riot is right or not, all of this is an accumulation of built up frustration and anger from other black people who have felt like they got away with this different type of things for too long. But I can understand that perspective of you saying you don't want to be out there trying to do your job and somebody that you shot at before or whatever can come back and seek vengeance. Not saying that I feel that it's right, because I feel like as a professional, you should always be able to de-escalate and disarm people. I feel like that should be an absolute last resort. And I feel like a lot of officers, that's their first resort, mostly when dealing with black people. So that's
Awesome. Do you feel that the result of what's happening to many of our young black men is a direct result of direct racism or incompetent police work, or a combination of both? Anybody can take that.
The way I look at it is that most of the police officers that are policing these communities don't live in that community. They have no connection, they have no ties to it. If you live in a whole different parish, police have parishes and other cities, they have counties, and you did not attend the high school or you did not attend anything local, you don't know anybody from whatever, and you come into these black communities, of course, we always, as white men, are always perceived as being a threat. So if you're a police officer, your radar tells you to go in and handle it like it's a threat. But if it was officers who are actually from the community, in some instances they wouldn't handle it. Now some things require you to go in with force. But if it's just a situation of domestic violence, or in George Floyd's case, or Ahmaud Arbery's case, so many different cases, Eric Garner, if it had been a cop who'd known him for, say, 20 years and know he sold blue cigarettes, it would have been a misdemeanor ticket. But when you have policing for non-community people and you come in, they're automatically assumed a threat no matter what. It's just like me being from Baton Rouge becoming a cop in AD and I don't know everybody in AD. Or me being a cop living in La Plaza, but I'm a cop in New Orleans. My instinct is gonna tell me I'm going into this inner city community that's known for violence, that's known for drugs, that's known for all these things, and my first instinct is to make it home that night. And by any means necessary, whether I go in with my mind clicked on that everybody's a threat. I mean, just in recent days, I had to call an officer for something, and before we even take care of the business at hand, it was something that just, hey man, I just need you to sweep something real quick for me. And before I know it, he's already in his trunk, and he's putting his gloves on. Okay, tell me about the situation, what we gotta do. And if we walking, he had a flashlight and a gun out. And my thing is, had he been somebody familiar with the community, none of that would have happened to walk in with a conversation. It's just, the handshake thing, I don't really know anything about it, but it's just one of them situations, man, where you just have to really, really look at who is actually policing your community. It starts, the first policing starts in your home with your mama. In my case, it was my mom and my grandpa, single parent home. But in some cases, there are families that have the father in the home. But then at the same time, in the black community, the football coach is a father. The guy that lives on the corner that cuts the grass is a father. So you actually see some semblance of it. But we've gotten away from it. We moved into a realm of don't say nothing to my kids. Don't tell them nothing. And my wife teases me all the time because I tell, little kids run down the street doing bad stuff and I'm screaming at them. And she's like, why you screaming at the kids? I say, they did it to me. I'm not changing. I got cussed out in the next 2 days. Hey, Mr. Jeremy, good morning. That structure that we're looking for comes from within. And if we don't push for that change and say, I want somebody that knows me to police my community, this will keep happening.
I know a lot of they read these statistics, some may be familiar with them, some may not. But if I was to ask you how many Americans in the United States approximately, if you didn't know, it's about 326 million Americans in the United States, give or take a couple of million or so. Of those 326 million, the black population only makes up 14% approximately, give or take, depending on what statistic website you went to. That 14% equates to 40-something million people. Of those 40-something million people, 8% of those are black women, and the other 6% are our black men. So we already at a very, very, very small proportion of the pie, the population pie. But on the other hand, black males make up over 56% of the male prison population. So of course we can see the numbers skewed. If it was fair, then you should have numbers that represent the actual piece of the pie. When you got 56% of African American men in the prison population, but we only make up 6% of the full population, then we're being targeted and we get sentenced times that'll double and triple the same times of our white counterparts. So in my mind, some of the things that's going to have to be done will have to be at legislation and laws and the way these laws are written in regards to how they black men. Because if I'm gonna ask this question, I just want to hear what all the panelists have to say. Do you guys know the average, the age range that most black men are quote unquote targeted in prison? The age range from when they go to prison, from starting from what age till what the ending age of our black men that are arrested and put in prison? Anybody got a guess? Starting from what age to what range? It's a range, that the number that I'm trying to give you guys. And I'm gonna tell you what it is if you don't know it.
Probably 18 to 35.
Very, 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 right on, man, right on. Anybody else got something?
17 to 35.
That's pretty much what y'all was gonna say?
Yeah, you said 25 to 35.
It's actually pretty much just what he said, 17 to 35. Okay, why is that significant? Anybody care to guess why that age range is significant? Before I say what I know it is, but I want to hear what somebody got to say. Why do you think that particular age range is so vital, from 17 to 35?
I think that's the age that the young men start to grow into manhood. And if you take them out of that form and lock them up, then it takes away from the family unit. And it's a way to tearing down the family.
Correct. Anybody else got a reason? That's just one. It's got several.
I say, whenever you get the head out of the household, it says the whole household is divided into fathers. So at that age group, from 17 to 35, if you don't have nobody around that's pretty much the head of the household, then the household is gonna fall. That's my take on it.
I agree with both Joe said about, like you said, a lot of our young brothers that's there, 18, 35, coming into manhood, and like Pastor here said, it's the head of the household, and I feel like it all goes back to the family, and like he said, the structure has to come from within. Like the changes we want to see have to start in our communities with us first, and it starts with the family. So we get a strong family unit, strong families make strong communities. And then if you have a strong community, then you can have a strong nation. So I think it all goes back to the nuclear black family.
That's correct. Also, many of that age range is when most of us would be having our children and fathering those children. So when you're arrested from 17 to 35 in that range, when you get out of prison, you're close to 40. Your baby making days are getting limited. It's not saying that you can't have one later, but the peak of your baby making time has been negated. So it does a couple of things. It helps kind of keep down, depopulate us, because our black race is one of the slowest growing minority races in the country. Everybody else's race is growing, and some, especially Hispanics, is growing at a very rapid pace over the last 50 years, but African Americans race it's been stagnant, and some regards actually decreasing. So to me, that's a starting point right there, because we're targeted. But it's a misnomer. A lot of times we hear it in big headlines and bold letters, black on black. Y'all stop killing each other. And it's actually, it's true. We should figure out other problem solving. But when you take that father from the household, in my honest opinion, these are the things that father helped provide. He provides sound decision making. Somebody to bounce ideas off of when you're frustrated. Mothers try the best they can. Some mothers can do a job to do both. And they're very blessed to be able to do it. But sometimes you ever wonder why sometimes when a kid get like 13 or 14 and his father doesn't live in the same house with him, the mothers usually go ahead on agree to let him go stay with his dad for those real serious years of his teenage life, because it's very vital. So to me, I think that sounding board that a man provides, and like my brother said on last week, even when a man makes mistakes in the house, those young men get a chance to see you make mistakes and bounce back. They get to see you lose your job and shake back. They get to see you get into an argument with your wife, you just fix it in front of them. They see that y'all have recovered from that and y'all move forward. When they don't have that and they don't see that, I think that's a big detraction from what hurts. That's to me, I think that's one of the main contributors to it, because that age range is very vital and very important. But when you hear the phrase black on black, and I know we all hear it all the time, it's not a false narrative, it's just a very incomplete narrative. The full narrative is every race against each other. So every race against that particular race commits the most crime against that particular race, meaning more whites commit more crimes against more whites than any other race against whites. Hispanics commit more crimes against Hispanics than any other race against Hispanics. They never really tell you the full scope of that. They always stop at black on black. I'm not excusing our behavior, because we do need to figure out how to stop resort to violence every time we have an issue. But to me, that lets me know when I read those statistics, it's not really just about race. Really, what it's about is proximity to the person that I'm going to commit the crime against. If I live next door to you and I know you go to work every day at 5 in the morning, you don't have no man living in the house and your kids at school, the house is empty, then I'm plotting against you because I live close to you. It's not really because I'm black. It's because I live close to you. So every once in a while, yes, you might go across town and commit a crime against another community, but most of the time, most of the crimes happen. If you watch any forensic science shows, most of the time when murders happen or kidnappings happen, it's always usually within a couple of miles radius of the actual neighborhood from where those people reside. So that's my opinion on that. If anybody has something to share on that particular topic that we're talking about, please jump in. And if you don't, we'll move forward. Does anybody have anything that they want to elaborate on or expound on in regards to that or any of those statistics?
Yeah, I was going to say too, with that age range, that 18 to 35, like you hear a lot of young people, they'll say people in their 30s, 40s, old or whatever, but that's still relatively young. So that 18 to 35 range, a lot of our young black men getting locked up, you are still developing. Like you're still trying to find your identity and find yourself. So for you to spend that time that you're supposed to be coming into manhood and becoming the man that you need to be, if you spend that time locked up, when you do get out, you kind of still behind the 8 ball because you was riding that time. So now you're trying to play catch up to that time that you missed out on. And also that was a good point you brought too about the crime and being a proximity thing rather than a race thing, and how that's true for all races. The crime rate is the highest among their own peers who they live amongst. And I would also say, if someone was to bring that, if you were to discuss Black Lives Matter, and someone was to bring that to you, well, what about black on black crime? A lot of those times when somebody does that, they're just trying to get a reaction out of you. They're not genuinely interested in helping out the black community. Now it's different if we're genuinely having a discussion about that. But if I'm talking about Black Lives Matter and you use that as your rebuttal, the next time somebody does that to you, you ask them, and you're talking about Black Lives Matter, you just ask them, well, what are you doing to help the black community? What are you doing to help really bring the crime rate down? Or do you really care, or are you just using that as a evasive tactic to divert away from a serious subject? But I agree that's a very vital age to get to before we go.
It is. On last week's show, one of the young men that was a senior at Southeastern, Kobe Contreras, he actually brought another good point with that age range. He said that when you make 18, you just really at no man's land. You're too old to be considered an adolescent, and you're too young to be really considered a full adult. So you're just in that spot, and it's that unfortunate spot where you know you're still developing, but you can't be charged as a juvenile. You want to be charged as an adult, but so many decisions that you would have made after 18, you won't get a chance to do that when you get locked up, put in jail for those extensive periods of time for crimes that are pretty much done by your white counterparts who receive much less time for the same crime. So, in my honest opinion, of course, we want to get out and vote, and we need to start being more aware of the people that we vote for and understanding what their policies are. But to me, it's got to start kind of with that, because that's a straight systemic situation. I mean, me and you can go and talk to our kids one-on-one in the house, but this is a situation this is a national situation. That if this can get taken care of on a national level in the legislation, you'll see immediate results from that in the crime rate and in the arrest rate and the prison times. That's going to be an immediate, direct reflection of legislation, even as we still do the individual one-on-one, neighborhood, door-to-door type thing. That's just my full opinion on that.
I like to weigh in on this conversation about legislation. We don't need legislation. The law says what it says. What we need to do is understand that accountability, culpability, leads to justice and reform. We have a view
where we keep wanting somebody to do something that makes it clear we can't do ourselves, so we keep meeting and talking about what we need done. If that officer pulls you over and searches your car, how long does it take you to get to the department to fill out a complaint? Accountability, culpability, justice, reform. We keep wanting somebody to legislate justice. We just have to demand justice. Every time we have an issue with the police, we talk about laws. The law says if I shoot you and kill you, I committed a homicide. Now I have the burden of proving that that homicide should not land me in jail. The law says that the police officer committed a homicide. But there are police unions that put together all of these administrative steps that we keep thinking we need laws on, and we're sitting here, and even those of us that can sit and separate the wheat from the chaff, it's just easy for us to not be held accountable to the community for knowing. Then when we tell the community don't want to be held accountable for doing. I can tell you in 19 different languages, if that cop stops you, you tell him no, he can't search. If he searches you, then you go, at the moment you leave that scene, you go straight to file a complaint. They don't want to let you file a complaint. You have your phone, video, and whether you, so you saying I can't, all of a sudden I can't turns to, I guess so. You all, these officers, personnel file won't have a single complaint in it. But you go in the hood, everybody can name the 5 officers that beat people here in Hammond. Because you know how I know? How do I know? And when they come to my office, I say, look, don't do this. Guess what they do? Go back and poke the lip out and, hey, that's great. The law, if you didn't, why is it that you so familiar with the law as what you don't need to do? What do you mean he can just snatch you out of your car? Yes, he can if he knows that you ain't gonna do nothing but poke your lip out. Now, after you reported him 5 times and nothing happens, and now 175 people show up at city council, hey, councilman, don't act like you don't know anymore. Accountability leads to culpability, because all of a sudden, you don't gotta understand, the biggest thing this whole thing has going for it is they have buffers between the act and accountability. If you start holding people accountable, they start stepping out of the way, you get closer to the people actually providing the buffers. If you hold a cop accountable, the cop goes to his boss, and the boss start realizing that cop is a bad cop. If he keep leaving him there, now it makes the boss accountable. Now when the boss doesn't want to do it, you go to the mayor can't act like he doesn't know anymore. I mean, y'all, it's a simple accountability. So when we start saying, oh, we need to go to legislature, they're sitting locally, they'll march with you because they're marching right with you, know what you're not going to do. So yes, indeed, the chief of police will pray with you, but 2 days later, he pepper spraying the hell out of you. You know why? You don't understand how to stop it. I'm sorry. You don't want to believe that it's that simple. If every person files complaints, it's over. What I mean by it's over, I'm talking about the layers are starting to peel. Am I right or wrong? And then they call you and they say, tell me what you know, because before we break into the carpet, he doesn't have to say anything. Now he's in law enforcement, I'm talking about the highest level, Secret Service. But if they get 4 complaints filed on you, the person that was with you say, man, what do you know? Hey, I'm not, so you don't have to say anything. What that means is he is doing it. Now, but we're not doing that. We're talking about wanting the cop to step up. Why should he? Why would he want to be black? Why would a black cop want to be black and he can be blue? Blue is the preferred color. Who is holding a black cop all of a sudden when he can say blue? He only got to speak black when he off work? Or if he don't accept with detail, he'd rather work on it because he's always blue then. You all, it's simple. I'm not getting upset because I just be like, you all. It is so simple because I tell you what. We know that if we tell them who's selling dope, they're gonna stop him, right? We believe that, though, right? We believe that. So much so we be snitches. But we don't believe holding the cops accountable will work. So you get 1 or 2 reports against somebody who has beat 35 people out here. So when they come in and you start trying to say, we only have 2 complaints. So, I mean, this guy has been great in the community. You all we have to do is hold the people accountable. Quit asking police, you're good cops and bad cops. Every cop that step out of line with me will have his day to prove why he did it. He's gonna have to prove why he did it. We're not gonna bleep off, we're not gonna talk about this. So the world can know when you was going home with your wife, all this wonderful stuff you're doing, let her know how much of a bigot you are. Let your kids know how you're putting their friendships in jeopardy. Because you daddy can start putting up there, now all of a sudden his kids don't have no friends. There are plenty of ways to box in a bigot. Because you can't make him step out, but you can box him in. And all I'm saying is accountability, and I want to keep going on, but I'm going to say this, just so I can show you the levels, so that everybody can participate at some level of accountability. So that we can go through accountability, there's a door to culpability. Now they're going to have to start charging him. Now once it gets in culpability, there are some of us that make sure that it's a charge, then it's a prosecution, then there's a conviction, and then we want the law, what the law says, if you get convicted of this, this is what you do. Now we got to hold him. Now the DA needs to understand, we're not retarded, we need to understand that if he gets convicted of this crime, the statute says anybody. So now that he's charged with it, he needs to be treated like what? Everybody. But we're so busy celebrating the lawsuit. You see, you got to understand, there are 3 levels of accountability. There's the lawsuit, there's the firing, then there's the policies. They want us always to focus on what? The first level. And then we jump up and act like we just won the lottery when we get the second one, the firing. The policies are the ones that make them think they can avoid all of this. So if we go straight to the policies, that's when you start talking about one bad apple. Anybody that plays football, the coach says, hey, you got 35 seconds while you're gassing. And you got all the coaches watching the line. If you don't make it, stop. All of y'all that didn't make it, you can go back. Policy, the head coach said that everybody that does not make it. But if the head coach doesn't have, if you don't make the head coach enforce the policies, they get happy because coach called out the one he doesn't like. He didn't make it, but 19 others didn't make it. But the one he didn't like, he called him out. It's true he's got to go back and run his gas, but the other 18 stood there and watched him. So they already know that the numbers on their side, that they can always violate because they're only looking to make one as an example so the public can get happy, and they'll have 10,000 incidents and they'll take one and put him on the cross. That allows the system to stay intact. Because even during the riots, we're not even talking about this. We're watching the police do the exact same thing we're rioting about. They're doing it to the peaceful protesters and talking about the riot. And everybody's still talking about something that happened that allows us to watch what they're still doing. And we don't even talk about it. We still want to talk about George Floyd. They're committing felonies as they approach the people that were already talking about George Floyd. Got an old man, you saw the old man? Cracked his skull, 2 different ones. The girl, the little white girl that went flying in there, cracked her skull. What I'm saying is, what are we still talking about? You know, laws. The law says that, but it's the policy. You gotta understand these unions go and put together stuff. You can kill somebody. The union says before you can have to make a statement, you have a certain number of days. You all, if we attack these policies, the law already got them. They were smart enough to put stuff between them and the law. We have to remove, because what makes they're a different class of citizen. So what you're saying is blue makes the law gray. But for blacks, the law will always be black. Then for whites, then it's white, because when I say white, the paper is there, but they only invoke whatever black letter law they feel. But us is as it's written. Sorry, I would like to help him, but it's got mandatory minimum, George. Watch him walk right out of here with probation. He's got a mandatory minimum. I would love to do it, but the statute says he's got to do 10 years. Really. But if you reduce what you convicted him of, he doesn't have to do 10 years. And we take it, hook, line, sinker, all, and just start blaming us and black on black crime. Man, that can never be the conversation. Black on black crime is between two criminals. What we're talking about is the person we're hiring and paying every day to protect us from what they're subjecting us to. Don't even let it get mixed, not mixed up. Don't even let it get mixed. Black on black crime has nothing to do with police on black crime. Black on black is nowhere near as offensive to the Constitution as blue on black. This is about black and blue. Whoever color he was before he put a suit on, he's blue. It's not about white police officers. It's the blue versus the black. Now it's something we decided. It's just we never given the memo. We get to see the score, but we don't get to play the game. They just keep posting the score. Live, quick 3. It's like I thought, no, we keep the score. And then they let us know this is why we do it, because we got all these stats. But let me tell you, I'm gonna be done because I don't know why I'm doing this. But if I don't say it now, it'll get caught in the rest of the conversation. I want to finish this. You all understand how this happens. The government gives grants for crime. If you wrote this area here off and said it's a high crime area, what does high crime mean? High incidence of arrests. How many arrests have you seen been based on what? Nothing. What I mean by that is, how many times do you know people in a certain area, it's being done this way for a reason. Because you can call this high crime area, they now have, according to the statute, reasonable suspicion to do what? Stop and frisk. And we keep arguing at a base level. Man, why are you picking with me? No. Then they get the money for dare. Then they'll get the black officers or something to come around with this dare and all this. And now everybody's admitting that we got a high crime area. Then they put the signs up, high crime areas. Now, people that live in there can be subjected to illegal searches, but they were made discretionary because you live where? They drop their fishing pole there and they keep fishing at some point. Now, at some point, they're going to bite. That's what we have to keep in mind. We have to start with policy. Every single person in here can file a complaint. And if they don't let you file a complaint, you call me. And we'll go in there together. And when we get in there now, let them not file a complaint then. Now we'll establish they need to get the Department of Justice in here. I mean, life is simple. It just ain't easy. We have to lay the groundwork. Us. We have to lay the groundwork. We can't keep coming up with the things that the groundwork will get us. We lay the groundwork. They'll follow. Trust me, they're out in the streets every day willing to get beat and shot. But for what? What is the end game? What exactly are you demanding? We'll take this one form and start trying to get education change and jobs. And wait a minute, I thought this was about police reform and justice. What is your plan for that? So once they realize we scattered, then they act like they will because they realize we're not going to work. Let's pray with them. We'll march with you. We'll kneel with you. And we're going to celebrate and jumping and crying and hollering. They with us. Really. In other words, we haven't done anything to jeopardize their policies. And as soon as they get up there, you watch another city, they just took a whole group of people and threw them all on the ground and spraying pepper spray out of trucks. Just passed by spraying them like they're spraying mosquitoes. You know the mosquito truck that goes around? Everybody get mosquito spray, and we sitting here talking about George Floyd only. Rather than understanding that this is a policy issue. That's it.
I got 2 questions, real quick. I definitely agree with accountability and culpability, and like you say, it's a system. It's not just it's systematic. And my 2 questions. The first question is Derek Chauvin, the officer that murdered George Floyd. They say from what I saw, he did have like a lot of complaints on him and stuff like that. So my first question is, what should be done in situations like that when it is officers that have a lot of complaints on them and they still.
Let's go to the next level. Now, what else are they trying to do to the Minneapolis Police Department? Because they saw these complaints and this man didn't kill somebody. What are you talking about doing to them now? Just keep listening to what you're saying. The complaints are what made them realize this is a systemic problem that has been confirmed. So now they won't change, and all of a sudden, all officers want to quit. It's simple. The complaints created a rift. At first, it was just, then they started realizing there's no way for us to hide it, y'all, because, public information. So all of a sudden, they can see all of this complaints. Then these other officers, we're going to find out that's his brother-in-law. Just all of a sudden, the cover comes off and everybody want to run. And they put the fence up and say, you know what? All of y'all, either y'all going to tell us something or we quit. Quit. Policy. The law didn't change. We have to attack policy. 3 ways. Now to get to that. 3 ways. 1, financially. You have to sue every time. Win, lose, or draw, you have to sue. Because what happens is the whole justice, every time you go to court, they sue over what? Police brutality. The judges have to at some point say, wait a minute. Oh, so you got to be back in court again next week, officer? Okay, I'll see you next week. Oh, so wait a minute. So we got 19 lawsuits and they're filed against him. Right. Now, when they finally get him out here exposed, they don't talk about no minimum charges on him. The system knows him because the same judges here are civil and criminal. You got to keep holding their feet to the fire. You file suit, win, lose, or draw. That's one thing. The next level is now you have to make sure they're fired. Because we have to all come together and say, look, tell us what your hiring practices are. At some point they have to be transparent. We keep talking about laws, we're not addressing police agencies at all. No matter how many they kill, we never address the agency. We talk about the DA and charges. That's afterwards. You won't ever get to the DA if the police department changes everything. There are no convictions because there are enough things in the policies that will buffer them from having to worry about the charges. Right. That's what I'm saying. We have lawsuits, we have firings, and now we want to have them allow us to have access to what the policies are. So we can determine whether they violated or not. Because when I always said, there's going to be an investigation, by who? We never asked that. We keep thinking about police. We keep talking about the D. Y'all, they have an internal investigation. By whom? Because I do know that at one time here in Hammond, the IA officer was a beat officer. At one time, Tony Corgan was the internal affairs officer who would tell you, I don't know if I want to take your complaint. What did you do? I'm saying, no, you can't do that. Well, I'm just saying, no, you can't do that. Then the chief walks out and stands up in my face and you trying to make yourself famous. Really? Is that what it is? Well, I'm going to let you be famous. All of a sudden, they start wearing because we're going to sue them. You all, it's not easy, but it's simple. And then they say, well, it's not you. You don't have to go to jail. I've been to jail for not letting them do what they want to do. I spent the night in jail because they want to search my car. I'm not going to tell them I'm a lawyer. Help yourself. Tire yourself out. Do everything you got to do. People don't want to be inconvenienced in the name of their rights. You don't want to be inconvenienced. You're on your way somewhere and they say they're going to call a dog. Man, you ain't got it. Call them. You might say the next person from that. And even worse, if you know you're dirty, call them. I mean, you can search. How much sense does that make? Because now you're getting, your lawyer don't have nothing to fight with. Correct. If you get in a position to search and you know you're dirty, then why are you hiring a lawyer? If you know you're dirty, you say they couldn't search. I might find out when he said you had a busted taillight that you didn't have a busted taillight. Now, all the stuff after that, we got a problem. Them two dead bodies, all of them guns, that 400 pounds of dope happened after you stopped them for a busted taillight. So we're not going to talk about the dope. We can't get there because we didn't get past the busted taillight. That wasn't busted. Right. And you still busted, but you don't have a video showing that. If that's on the basis of the stop, what do we have?
I want to jump in right there.
Let me say my second question.
Go ahead.
My second question, how you saying you got a file complaint and holding feet to the fire and all that. What do you saying, how can we get this information out there? And a lot of black people feel like, I'm not even going to sue, it's going to be a waste of time, I don't got the money or resources. A lot of black people don't even know a lawyer or an attorney. So like, what do you think is an avenue for us to take to efficiently get this information out there for people? Because like you said, a lot of people don't even know they have these.
How about this? How do we let people know about this? It's just a question. Well, how do we let people know about anything we want them to know? We make it difficult when it's about these things. It's simple. How do you make people know you just got a new car? Facebook, huh? Well, how you let them see your new ring? Facebook, right? Your son just got a scholarship. Facebook, right? Now I ask this, they're like, how do we let them know? The same people that come to you, whatever, if it's your people, they're going to come to you. If they trust you, they'll trust your Facebook, right? That's all I talk to. I don't care who doesn't come. I just want to make sure the people that come get what they came for. If they're your people, one person get out, hey man, y'all said this. Well, guess what? They're going to check. I don't believe you said it. If you said it, boom, it's gospel. That's how you roll. That's how you get it out. Post the bad stuff on. My Facebook is dedicated. Y'all want to see some stupid stuff? Watch this. Do you want to see somebody online? Watch this. Do you understand why you think you're above it? You're not. The senator in New York got his behind sprayed, choked out, and everything. They didn't know it was him. It doesn't matter who I am. It just matters what happened after they find out. But it doesn't stop what's happening from happening. So you have to make sure everybody understands that we have to make it known there's a systemic problem, and I'm going to break it individually. How did it all fall on this guy? I mean, I know of police killings. I mean, we see the cops kill a guy over here that had a mental problem in Hammond. It was like, well, why are we talking about something way up in Minnesota? Us. If we look back a year from today, just here in our parish, we can come up with the same scenario. But we keep saying, what can we do to bring change? Act like we know it needs to change here. And post on your Facebook. If you ride through and see the cops over here choking someone out, video, post it. Let him explain it. And then all your boys post it. We post a new car. But then we take our time, we gather people, and we get together, and we sit and have a think tank, and we feel better when we leave. And they feel better when we leave, we're already okay. So they know we're not going to call into the coffee for nothing. We just come here and talk about them all ourselves, share all our bad experiences, and go home.
I think as a people, not just police brutality, but I see it all the time in all other walks of life. You go in these stores, these Koreans treat you bad, you continue to go back and spend your money. You go in other places and people talk to you any kind of way, and you still spend your money. If I go anywhere to spend my money and you disrespect me, I will never spend another dime in your store. Period. And us as black people, we all do it. That you allow them to treat you any kind of way and you still give me your money. It's the same thing that he's saying when cops do you some kind of way, complain. When these people treat you any kind of way in these stores, don't take your money back.
I definitely had some points in there that George spoke on that I wasn't aware of at the time when it happened to me. We're in the age of full out social media now. But when I was younger, when I was in college at Southeastern on Waterline, I remember leaving my apartment. I stayed back there on Whitmore Acres. I was in a black Mustang with a wing on it, rims and all, but I'm still in college. I worked 2 jobs, cut hair on the side, and I'm an honor student. But they don't know that. They see me caught. So it was 11 o'clock at night. It's pitch dark. You can't come from Whitmore Acres without lights on. You know, you can't make it all the way from back there. But I remember getting close to the University Center. And you know what the University Center is on Waterline. So it has some apartments, the older one, not the new ones they built, but the older ones on the right. Now, I don't know how many feet that is away, but it's very far away, and the police officer should be gone by the time I get up there, because I'm at the light. But he stopped in the middle of the road till I caught up to him, and stayed parked like in the road. There wasn't nobody coming, so he wasn't in the way, but he stayed in the road till I got on silent. So I'm going under the speed limit, too slow. So I probably could have got a ticket for going too slow. But I had this mind frame to pull over, because every time most black folks, the police kind of get behind them, we know we want to kind of pull over. They get out of the way, like before they start running stuff, we want to go to a gas station. Some told me to pull over at that gas station to the left, that Chevron, they used to do that. But I went on here and got to the red light, the sticky one. Used to have some old club on the corner before they had the gas station that's there now. And the police officer, the black dude, pulled me over, and he pulled me over, and he asked me, do I know why he pulled me over? I don't. But, and I can read something about that. I want to get into that, because I wanted to kind of preface it. He made up a reason to stop me. And when he got out, he said, you know you ain't got no headlights, right? I said, no, you lying, because they on your legs now. He was standing in front of my car, the lights shining on his knees. He still said, you don't have no headlights. So that's what he wanted to write down why he pulled me over. Now when he pulled me over, I'm dressed like, a typical 21-year-old guy dressed, went pants, hat back, but I think I've been stereotyped the profile. So he pulled me over, he asked me, can you search the car? I felt like he probably wasn't supposed to search my car, didn't really know all the laws for it. I was like, man, I don't have nothing in my car, man, I'm a student, but I ain't really do all the stuff that I should have did, probably should have told her no and all that, but I let him search it, ain't nothing wrong in the car, but he still wrote down on this little report that I didn't have headlights. He arrested me, took me to jail. My brother was passing by at the same time, coincidentally. Saw me, asked me what's going on. I said, I don't know, man. So they took me to jail. When I got to the jailhouse here in Hammond, they said that the officers that were still on duty, they was messing with him, saying, man, come on, man. I don't want to say his name. They said, you supposed to be, ain't you off? What is you doing? So he was actually off, but he didn't want to answer what they had to say. So they arrested me, put me on the little bench, had my handcuffs. Gave me, I didn't have to go to the back and nothing. I was able to make a couple phone calls, got somebody to come up there and get me, but he made up the stop. So and this is the only reason why I'm saying that, because there are things that people can do when this happened. I didn't know it then, but I have information now, and since we all got Google and internet, the world wide, it's actual real life things that you can do to help protect yourself. However, now in these times, the number one goal is to make it back home. So as a father, you're telling your sons how to proceed when they see something like this happen. Your ultimate thing that you want to get across to them is just make it back home, comply. If you feel you've been wrong, we'll deal with that later. So that's just what I would say to my son. Now, since we're talking about it, I want to hear what other people have to say. First of all, with these made up stops, just like you said, I should have probably complained and made a report. I didn't, but that's my fault, but I didn't know. But since we all talking about it now, we're in the age we're in now, I'm glad that you gave that advice, that still put the report out there. Whether or not something happened to him right away, put the report out, get it on his file, so that it come up later on and it may end up being a benefit to help him get in some type of trouble behind it. But that's my story. Tons of stories I could have shared like that. But I know I'm not gonna say everybody, but a lot of us black men got stories that's very similar. And I wanted to ask you fellas, you got sons, everybody got sons in here, what's a real life, your son get pulled over by the cops today, really no sugarcoating, what do you really want to happen from that situation? What real life tangible answers do you want him to actually know? What information do you want him to know when he gets stopped? So we can share this with our viewers. What is he supposed to know so that he knows how to comply? First of all, I know you don't want to put officers at any threat. So you want to alleviate all the threat. And I got this, actually when I Googled it, they tell you they want to alleviate all that. Even by turning on your interior lights so that they can see everything. So I just want you guys, whoever want to take that, expound on that, tell me your story. You might have a story very similar, but what would you want your son, a real life solution? Because this might happen tonight, somebody gets stopped tonight. What do we want them to get from this conversation? Okay, anybody want to take that?
My son, when I lived in Maryland, we lived in a community where there was a whole lot of us there. And we had bought my son a new car. And he was like 18, 19 years old. And every time he left the house, every time he left, he got stopped by the cop. Every time. So I told him, I said, look, I'm driving the car. So I'm gonna blow this car one night. Cop pulled me over. I said, see, that's it. You did exactly what I want you to do. Get your supervisor out here right now. Well, no, get your supervisor out here. I want to know why did you stop me? Oh, you swerved. I didn't swerve. Get your supervisor out here. Well, sir, get your supervisor out here, then I'll tell you my name, I'll give you my ID and everything. Get your supervisor out here. Supervisor come like that. He said, okay, what's the problem? I said, the problem is, my son get harassed every time he drives in this community. The issue is, you need to stop stopping him. Do not stop him anymore for no foolishness. And matter of fact, I'm going to the sheriff department tomorrow to talk to the sheriff and tell him the same exact thing. I'm gonna give him, call him out the son's car, his license tags and everything, and don't harass him no more. The next morning, I went to the sheriff department and I filed a complaint. After that, he never had a problem again.
That's real advice. It seems like that's something Cheryl mentioned.
Nothing except what I started off with, file a complaint.
Yeah.
You will protect your son from this by filing a complaint. We want our children to know how to respond to something just to get home. I want to make sure they don't have to respond to nothing to get home. We're teaching them how to live like a slave.
Correct.
Rather than us to stand up and make sure they treat him like he's free. I don't know how to participate in that conversation. Because I'm not going. I'm going to jail. I'm going. I don't know how to do that, because what we're doing is we're making them realize that we don't care about our rights. We just want the basic sustenance in life. I want to get back home, but then you're home and they kick the door in. What are you telling them? Okay, he's sitting in the yard, they come straight. I'm saying, I'm not teaching them none of that. I'm gonna make sure that y'all don't have to teach them that by me being proactive. Go out and put these people in a bad situation before they try to step out of the box. Because once they're out of the box, they may kill your son.
Put them on notice.
Put them on notice they got a bad apple. And they keep saying a bunch of names, and know they got a bunch of bad apples. And they do like Minneapolis. Yo, this is picture perfect. They say, everybody keeps saying, what do you do? They're about to disband the police department in Minneapolis. That's what you do. You hold them accountable. Even if it costs you. That's why I keep saying we don't want to be inconvenienced, because you're about to go to the club. You got your conversation you had to have on your way to the club. You don't want to be late because it messes up the time and what you're going to the club for. And it might definitely keep you from doing what you're trying to do, the whole setup. So you just going to try to get past this. Let them go on and violate you. That's not good advice. Because that ain't for everybody. That's just for me.
What I understand.
But you will eventually realize they're going to violate you anyway. Especially if they think you'll do anything not to go to jail. Why are you taking me to jail? Once a police officer puts his cuffs on him, all that power he wanted, you just took it from him. Because he has to. What else can he do out there like he's big and bad? You already said company. But I'll take it. Let's go. Are you let's go. Now when he gets up there, his captain see this and he's like, okay, so we got him here for what? Am I right or wrong? They had a conversation in the back. Why? Now, why did you bring him? Because he acted like he wanted to come. So you wasted our gas. We wasted a uniform. We wasted 6 weeks of training you, and you say he is in jail because he acted like he wanted to come. The next one had like that, you oblige him. When you leave this time, leave my keys and my uniform. Because I can tell you right now, you're going to get us in trouble, because this person comes and gets processed. We'll document that you're arresting people for nothing. They don't document what you do out here on the street. But when you bring them in, you got to do what? Book you. You know how my arrest ended? With the judge telling them to go and get my car out of impoundment. I spent the night in jail in Texas. Go get his car. Because they didn't know who I was. It's not that who I was. During booking, you have to give your occupation. I took a 30-mile ride to the jail. I just sat. I didn't say a single word. They get me out, pulling on me. That's how y'all do it, huh? Right. Just get me in the jail. I don't want y'all to do that. That's outside. Right. Get me in the jail. We get in the jail. They start the booking process. What's your name? Your address? You know this. What's your occupation? I'm a lawyer. Got another lawyer here. Hey, buddy, what do you really do? I'm a lawyer. Get the cuffs off. Look, man, that guy's a butthole. Really? No, finish it up. Look, you want some coffee? We got some fresh coffee over there. You know, sit over there. Y'all just put him on the bench. No. What I'm trying to tell you is they had to go and finish booking me. Then when they tried to go get a bus, me, the judge said, I'll tell you what.
That car that you impounded, they took all my clothes out, dumped them on the ground. They had 9 cars come out there. I'm 30 miles out of town. I'm on Interstate 69. I'm going to Northeast to try to sign Eric Foster. I'm riding from Houston, working as an agent, to go get Eric Foster at ULM. I'm on my way there, I get stopped. Guess what? They put me in jail because I wouldn't let them search the car, so they had to come up with something. Because if you arrest a person, you can do what they call an inventory search, because you have to be able to justify, you have to be able to document what's in the car. So I can't say, I had $3 million in the car when y'all took it. It's supposed to be an inventory search, but they use it as a search to seize. But they can't do that if you say, no, you can't. If I say you can't search my car, you can't search my car. And then I'm time they call a judge for a warrant. Judge be like, okay, I hear you. So, I mean, what he got, is he a convicted felon or something? He says, I don't know if I can stand behind that warrant. I'll tell you tomorrow. So he's sitting there looking crazy. Now he convinced you to let him search. Now he got around the warrant. Because if they don't catch you in the act of anything, well, if you don't give them permission, they cannot do what? But since you don't have time, since I'm on my way to Monroe, and I had all these wonderful plans, my boss had given me the car and all that, I ain't got to go nowhere. Y'all want to play? Let's play. I had to spend 9 in jail. Too many people don't want to be inconvenienced to stand up for their rights, because I'm on my way to work. So you can search a man. No, because if you end up not being at work, now you have a real basis for a lawsuit, because it costed you something. Let them play themselves out, you all, if that's what you're trying to do. Because we keep trying to get together to see what all we can do, and then when it's our turn to do it, we're gonna do jack. Then we come back to the group and say what we need to do. You saw what you needed to do, but you chose not to do it. I'm not talking about you. I'm saying this is what these meetings are supposed to be like. What do we do? Accountability. If we talk about reform, and we talk about these other issues, that's outside my purview. That's outside me. I'll be quiet on everything outside of how to address police reform. Because now we start talking about justice. The law already gives us what justice is. But we're not holding our feet to the fire. And then we'll carry up and tell each other, go vote. Go vote. You did vote. The issue is, what was it you were expecting before you walked up to the man talking about what is he talking? What are you talking about? You know, what is your platform? And who have you helped to establish your platform? And what I mean by that is, before we had the right to vote, we always revoted before we could vote. Their address was the subject of the revote before you even voted. You understand what I'm saying? So when we start talking about riots, they're trying to make you shout with anything. But it's not really rioting. These people are calling themselves revolting, but there's nobody leading it. We like the people that could be leading it or could be giving direction, or want not to be associated with it. That's all they get a whole bunch of football players in the locker room. I mean, at some point, if there's no order, I mean, there's a whole lot of stuff you can do on the field, but if you don't give them no guys, they're going to turn the locker room, they're going to steal everything. The same guys that go out here and speak well before the police, before the cameras. We have to make sure, because the only thing they're doing, they got this energy ready to do something, and we haven't got them as to what to do. And all I'm telling you, just stand. You ain't got to move. You ain't got to go forward. Just refuse to keep backing up.
I want to switch gears real quick and talk about 2 other topics real briefly. One of them took place this week. I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with Candace Owens. She's very, very strong, opinionated, conservative. A lot of people feel that she is, an ally of Trump, whatever. But when you dig into her background, you can kind of see some discrepancies in what she says that she is and what she stands for, and some of that stuff is kind of contradictory. However, this past week on YouTube, she made about an 18-minute rant about black people trying to make a martyr out of George Floyd, who is in terms of criminal, and she feels that we owe ourselves more than that, and she focused solely on his criminal acts. And keep in mind, they said that, even though some of that stuff is true, I think the last 5 years he had no other arrests or other issues with the cops. However, as a person that watched what happened to him, of course I have my opinion on it. I don't feel that she should have been speaking so irreverently about him at a time when his family is still grieving. She's saying she understands that what happened to him is wrong. but she says she don't understand why black people always want to make martyrs out of these people who don't deserve to be made martyrs of. So she feels that because of his criminal background and some of the things he's done, she feels that black people are trying to make a martyr of him. I don't feel that personally. I feel that people are just, he could have been named Craig, and could have been from anywhere, Florida, anywhere. I don't think it matters about that. I think they just had enough, and they was going to revolt and act like this regardless. That's me. But I wanted to hear what you guys thought about her viewpoint about black people trying to, quote unquote, make a martyr of someone that's not deserving of that status in the black community because of his criminal background. Anybody want to take that?
Yes. I think that she's important in the conservative movement, and leave her there. Move on to something else that matters. She's important to them, let her stay important to them. How are we gonna make her famous over here? Why? I mean, it doesn't matter what other people think. Not that one person who is herself following somebody. She's not leading anything, so don't give her any status as if she is the picture of anything other than somebody who's benefiting from the state of chaos we're in. So we don't need to find another object to hate. She already hates herself. It's all good.
You won't be giving no views on YouTube.
We're gonna find on YouTube. Don't make your time about her. You got your people with her.
She's doing what she's paid to do. She's doing what they put her there to do. She's doing the job that they gave her to do. I did see a couple minutes of the video. I didn't watch the whole thing. It was really disgusting to me. And I felt like she was trying to use these things to try to justify his murder. And all of that stuff, whether it was true or false, it was completely irrelevant. He should still be alive today. And at the very minimum, he should have been able to, whatever he was accused of, he should have been able to have his day in court. There's nothing that can, so I felt like she was trying to set that, put that out there to be in people's hands, like, well, you know, maybe that should have happened that way. So
That's the playbook, is to bring all that up to make it seem as if that person was just some way deserving of what they got. But my thing is this. Now this is not true, but if I shot 5 people and I go to the court of law and I get sentenced to 10 years, and I do my 10 years and I come home, that don't mean if I'm jaywalking I deserve to die. None of that matters. And like you said, well, she didn't pay to do it. She didn't pay to assassinate the character of whoever. So to be honest with you, to give her a platform is counterproductive.
And see, that's a little further than, I don't think it's just about her getting paid. She has her viewpoint.
Yeah.
Let's say there's no money there. She's married to her. That's her world.
That's true.
But who cares? Who cares?
Right. Well, why do you guys think that it's paramount that we as blacks here in America not let this opportunity where we have all of this involvement, whether it's true or false or somewhat partial, when everybody in every state has some sort of protest, whites, Hispanics, Asians, and all are fighting, quote unquote, right now in the midst of trying to get justice for those people of color. Why do you think it's important right now for us as in black Americans to not let this opportunity pass us by to try to create real change? Anybody want that? Y'all gotta speak up, man.
Real change is like, first of all, we have to ask ourselves, I start off again, what are we trying to change? I'm not saying what do we want change, what are we trying to change? Because to them, justice is somebody getting paid and him getting arrested and convicted. They'll forget about the sentence and say, at least you got a conviction. So it's like, where is justice? We have to define what justice is. Justice has to do with the legal system for the criminal side. And that's not true. The legal system, period. But it's got civil and criminal. So it's like, when we have this attention, how focused are we on the objective? What is it?
Yeah, I was watching something last night. It was funny, it was a comedian, but he just asked, he said, why do we always ask for the bare minimum? We actually, we say Black Lives Matter. They come back and say all lives matter. I understand that, that's fine. But we can't even take that one. Then you say, well, you know what? We just asking for civil rights. They just want you to say, hey, good morning, how you doing? Look, now. I don't know. We'll think about it. That's that system you're talking about. If we don't necessarily have a direct plan to face all these things that are encompassed in systematic oppression. See, the thing about it is systematic oppression is not just the police.
Right.
It's not just this. We're looking at the whole big ball of wax saying, oh, let's just take it. I just learned something that made me realize that if you have police in your area, because I was talking about community police, but if you have police in your area, because in Baton Rouge we have a few, and everybody talk about them like dogs, but I don't think nobody has actually gone down and said, let me make this report on him, because the thing about it is that just like on your job, when you get, what they call it, every year you get a evaluation on your job. You were made for work 4 times. Gotcha. You didn't get this done. Gotcha. When it's time for that raise, that 2%, that 3%, you can maximum up to 6%, but they're gonna knock it down a little bit just so you can stay right in that price range. So the thing about it is, like you said, you got a martyr now. Chauvin had 18 complaints. One other officer had 4. Other officer didn't have none. Other officer had 2.
Just got here.
Just look, they just showed up. But guess what happened immediately from? We gonna take Chauvin and put him out there because he's the one we willing to sacrifice.
He looks like he should be.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
that was his 4th killing.
yeah.
2006, 2 in 2011, and this one.
Right.
4.
So when you look at this, the thing that I'm trying to point out is that, like you said, if you don't create a paper trail, you have no leg to stand on. You can go and say, hey, I paid this bill. That's just like returning something like Walmart does take over anything. But you try to take something back and kill us. Without that proof of purchase on that receipt. They gonna tell you, sorry, sir, there's nothing we can do for you. They could have walked in yesterday and called you and told you they had a sale by your personal salesperson. You can't take it back. You need to have receipts for the way that you be treated. You need to be able to show it. When I get pulled over by the cop, my wife don't like that I do this, but I get out of the car immediately. I don't sit in the car and say, drive it back to the car. Oh, what? So you can come to the window, look in the car? I carry a gun in my car. I'm not gonna be sitting here just being a victim so you can just come victimize me. I'm gonna get out the car, I got my license in my hand, I know exactly where the camera is on the police car because I'm fortunate enough to have a brother that's in the police force. He tells me certain things and I ask him certain things. I'm gonna stand right there on that camera, get back in your car. No, I need to know what you want. I need to know how you're doing. I go Highway 16 between Baton Rouge and A&E 5 or 6 times a month. Oh, well, just going back and forth. I'm leaving this 11 o'clock. I'm going 58 miles an hour. Now remember, because I just looked down at me, 58 miles an hour. Who pulls me over and say, hey, let me 55. I say, I didn't know I was speeding. He said, man, let me have your license and everything. He comes back and he said, oh man, here you go. Now I got fireman plates on my car. I'm glad I got him, but that's what I got him. And he said, man, you all right, man. I was just looking for somebody drunk. So like you said, if I catch that fishing pole in there enough, I'm going to find a bad license. I'm going to find no insurance. I'm going to tow your car and get it taken to the impound where they charge $135 a day to the point where the impound lot now owns your vehicle because they can call the system and get your title for your car and sell it. I'm gonna don't pay your property taxes on your property. I'm going to this how I'm gonna do it. The city don't always do an auction, they're gonna put it on adjudicated. The city ain't gonna come in and pay the taxes. That was one way. The new way to do it now is they don't even pay the taxes on it. they pay another company to do what's called the title search on your home. So that's $2,000. You only owe $700 in property taxes. So what happens is, now, that's accumulated. You got 30 days to pay it, or they sell it. Somebody walk in with a $10,000 deposit, house only cost folks, need 10 to get in. So now they got you. You only got 2,000. Next thing you know, the number was doubled up because that company that did the property search for 2,000 now did something else. And now it's 8,000. You ain't got $8,000. What you want to do? You gonna move. It's not just one thing. George can definitely hit us with the real as far as the police and all these other things, but there's so many things that encompass it. You got so many people going in so many directions. Nobody is laying out the permanent answer or the permanent solution for each systemic problem. It's just been bouncing all over the place. Right now, this issue is about police brutality against black people. But in the mix, they throw it in, like you say, education reform. We're going to take $1.5 billion from the police and put it in the education system. So now our eyes are off the ball. We worried about how we're going to teach our kids. We've been knowing that. I had the pleasure of working in a school system in a rural community. And I'm literally watching them expel a kindergarten for falling on the floor. A fourth grader for saying, I'm gonna call my daddy. You can't get around it. You're prone to it. You pull to it. Because to be honest with you, everything that he just said, I'll be honest with you, is the only thing we need to be focusing on right now before we get to all that other stuff. Because the question was, how do we explain to our sons how to deal with the police? To be honest with you, if we don't explain to them everything he just said, and start with that and lead with that, it's a waste of time.
That's what's so good about having a panel when you have diverse backgrounds. Because you want to educate. Believe it or not, I know everybody got access to reading all this stuff, but sometimes people only get this information by following. They're interested in what you have to share on your page, then they get a lot of the basic information from your page. Everybody just not going to look for this information. So I think that having a panel like this where everybody did different things is very helpful because you get real answers out of it. Because that's what you want. You don't want to just talk. We're here to talk, but you do want somebody to get something from this that's watching. So I wanted to, what I was going to do, this was an exercise that I wanted to do with all you guys. And I know you didn't have no chance to prepare, so it's going to be very real and authentic. And I wanted you to give me the actual first 2 to 3 words that come to your mind when I state these phrases or these words. And I wanted to do it this way because I could have sent it to you guys, but I want to do it this way because I want to hear, this is going to kind of display just how different we are. We all are the same and we're very different. And so I'm going to list a few phrases, and I want every person on the panel to tell me the first 2, 3 words that come to mind. And I'm trying to get somewhere when I do this. So I'm going to start with this. I'm going to say the word privilege. I'm going to start with Carlton. What's the first 2, 3 words that come to your mind when you hear the word privilege?
Advantage. Comfort.
Jared, what's the 2 or 3 words that come to your mind when you hear the word privileged?
Settle.
Settle.
I would just say I'm settled.
All right. For myself, when I hear the word privilege, I'm telling you the honest truth. The first word that comes to my mind is white. Second word that probably comes to my mind is, a second phrase that might come to my mind when I hear privilege is upper class. And the reason why I'm doing this is because it's not, you don't have time to prepare. I don't want you to prepare your answer. I want you to tell me what comes to your mind immediately. because you get visions of something that come to your mind immediately when you hear these words. So those are my two. Pastor Wardell, what two words come to your mind when you hear privilege?
Strengthen. People that have more ability to do things or to have the finer things in life than others.
Okay. Moving along, Mr. George Tucker.
Access, faith.
Access, faith. Awesome, awesome. Moving on along.
Options.
Options. Awesome, awesome. I want, this here is just an activity. I just want somebody in the audience to grab it and tell me what's two or three words that come to your mind when you hear the word privileged. In the corner over here.
White.
White.
Spoiled.
Spoiled. That's weird. Anybody else out there want to just, two words that come to your mind, man? Underprivileged. Awesome, awesome. I'm gonna go to another one. Our future as Black Americans. Give me two words that come to your mind. Two or three words that come to your mind. Our future as Black Americans. Let's start over here with you.
I think if we don't change the way we live and the way we educate ourselves, our future is going to be pretty dim.
George?
I say bright.
Right?
I feel that we could be, you say future is bright with black leaders, right?
Just your future as Black Americans.
Or Black America. I say it could be strengthened. It could be we could be whatever we want to be as long as we put God first.
Yeah. For me, word that comes to my mind first is hopeful. It's my main word that comes to mind when I hear it. For you, Mr. Jerry. Our future as Black Americans.
Destined for greatness. This is history made manifest destiny as well. And right.
Destined for greatness and bright. Awesome. What you got, Mr. Carter?
Two dollars. I was gonna say hopeful, but if we don't take the proper steps for that, that's all that we will be actionized. It will just continue to be hopeful, and it could also be competitive. That's another one.
This here is a fill in the blank. Growing up in America right now gives me or makes me what? Growing up in America. Strong. Okay. Anybody? Man, what you got? Determined. Growing up in America right now gives me or makes me what? Anybody else? What you got, man? Resilient. Awesome. Awesome answer. What you got, Mr. Tucker? Concern. It's real. It's a real. Anybody else? Anybody on the panel? Another word. Anybody else? Good. You got it. Give me that. What you got?
Can I elaborate on that?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
I'm just saying concerned because I believe we as a black people, I've heard everything Mr. Tucker said, a lot of guys, I think that we have adopted other people's view of ourselves.
Yes.
And because of that is why there's vagueness. When you said a word for, my thought was vague. It's vague because I believe our vision is dim because of how other people see us.
Right.
And we go back to the Brown Board of Education, with the little girl in the experiment. She thought the prettiest dog was the white dog.
Right.
And I believe that we still have that.
Right.
As relates to Reconstruction, from the Emancipation Proclamation, Reconstruction that never really reconstructed anything, to, civil rights movement, and just the failure of us being viewed how we are supposed to be viewed. We have taken on their vision for who we are, and that's why we don't value ourselves, and we're killing one another as well as being killed.
Absolutely. Great point. Mr. Jerry, what you got, man?
Glad you brought that up. Mr. Tucker, now he just stepped into my realm, history realm. you're talking about is what's called the Great Disconnect. If you look at the world as a whole, especially North America, what you understand is that we are the only people that are disconnected from our true ancestry. And when I say our true ancestry, what I mean is that if you go to, just say, the races, the Italians, the Asians, the Jewish people, and all these different nationalities that we have here, we're the only ones that we have to create these things. Jump in the broom. It was created. It was a different thing in our homeland where we came from, but we're here now. Everything that we create is imitated. But none of it is kept home. I can't have a child and say, son, we're gonna have a bar mitzvah, because it's not ours. I can't have a daughter and say, we're gonna have a quinceañera. I was watching TV the other night, and the guy was trying to get his sister's quinceañera going, or whatever the case may be. And
What is that?
a quinceañera is for the Mexican community, for their daughters. When they
15th birthday.
15th birthday.
Okay.
Like a sweet 16.
But actually, it's not in the Mexican community. There's a special on Netflix, Blacks in Latin America.
Yeah.
If you watch that special that they have on Netflix about the blacks, it was more blacks that were sold to slavery in Mexico and Peru than the whole United States.
Yeah, but see that's way past my point.
Okay, no, what I'm saying is, no, what I'm saying is,
When he's talking about that tradition.
yes, it came from Africans. It was one of our traditions that came from Africa. Is what I'm saying. That's all.
It's ours, but we don't practice it. So.
Yeah.
But my point is that what he said was he named all of these different groups, and the only group that was missing from everything that he named was blacks. What's black? We're waiting for somebody to say, hey, we're gonna give y'all that.
No, actually we're not.
Huh.
It's just that's the image they want us to have ourselves. That's not what we're waiting on for.
Exactly.
No, that is not what we're doing.
What we doing?
You see, this is the deal. In the late 1890s, they started a true propaganda because we were in power then.
Yes.
So what they needed to do was all of the newspapers, other than our black newspapers, painted us as the boogeyman and savages. What has happened now is they pay us to paint us as boogeyman. They pay us hundreds of millions of dollars and get us Bentleys and Rolls Royces to act a fool and attract our young kids. See, we have adopted their system. I'm talking about, and I'm not talking about blacks, I'm talking about everybody believes in capitalism.
Right.
So it's not anything different about us. We have our thing. Look, we dictate all of the true things that people embrace. We still do that. Everything. Fashion is not fashionable to sag until we do it.
Right.
Then it's on the runways. Everything we do, the hairstyle and all of it, everything we do. But we keep wanting to discount, and they tell us it's fragmented. So if they say it's diluted, guess what we say? We must be diluted. They know everything. It's not diluted. We do have our own. Since we've been here, we have adopted our own culture. It is what it is. We can go back and read about how we can take what we know to make us feel strong about what we want. But we don't have to be identified with pure what that pre-existed us. We know that we came from that. That's what lets us know we can return to that right here. They've been trying to get rid of us since they freed us.
Right.
They can't. You have to understand, the moment somebody has a child for a black person, that person becomes what? All we have to do is realize that they want us to spend all our time saying, woe is me.
woe is me, y'all, our future, but if we don't, why do we keep talking if we don't? I'm wasting my time here, we talk about if we don't. I don't have time if we don't. I got people that came here that I know for a fact, if I stay roll, they ready to what? You hear? You hear what I'm talking about? That's right. We just gonna have people ready to fight for who we are, not about fight over nothing, fight for something. Right. And I'm not talking about fight anybody. I'm talking about why aren't I the smartest in my class? I'm sorry, the best grades. I got to be the smartest because my son know all of the Boosie raps. My son can watch somebody dance twice and then music on that. We excited about that. We're not lacking nothing. We're just choosing not to put a premium on it. We're looking for a price. We're looking for them to set a price for us to establish the value. That's all we're doing. We're looking over here for them to give us a price on what we ought to be getting. We're just establishing a value of what we should be demanding. And I'm not going to move no other way. And I don't want to keep hearing us ask a question of ourselves. Hey man, if you're in a particular field, are you an expert? Until y'all quit talking. I mean, how much more are you asking them for? They've already told you what they got for you. What in bubble gum? They got one or the other for you. So why you keep asking them for something? They just got one or bubble gum. So what do you keep going over and looking for? Pastor, that's all they got for you. But what do you need? It was illegal for us to learn how to read when we had people, the greatest orator that ever lived was Frederick Douglass. And he was born a slave. What are we sounding like slaves for? What do we got to get together and ask, do we have permission to do? Can you read? Can you read? Can you read? Well, you know how to act. The issue is, do I want to? Nobody got to tell you how to clean your car. When you get the new car, you don't ask no questions. You do everything you can to get your shine on. Nobody told you what rims to pick. Boom, I picked those. You know why? Because that's me. And then we sit here and got a question about what makes me free. I got to ask about how to be free.
Well, answer me this. What about the people that would say, you know, they like to use Atlanta as a model of what, you know,
who is they?
People in general, just in general. I mean, you hear this a lot in social media. They like to use it as a model of what black pride, black community involvement, black leadership could look like.
I can show you that ain't need high school football game with black pride, but what I'm saying is it all goes to what we want to use it for. I can show you the excellence that ain't need. Right. Why do we keep using something? See, we always use something we're not responsible for.
What about Black Wall Street?
What about it?
When all those black people were building all those businesses and looking prosperous, and then they still had white folk come and burn their whole city down, just to stop them in their tracks. So, you know, just speak on it.
What I'm saying, but what's the question about it?
What I'm saying is, these black people took it upon themselves to say, you know what, we can do this on our own. We're gonna build on our own. We can have pride in our own community. We're gonna segregate and do our own thing. And they still, because they were starting to be able to be self-sufficient, they got white people in the town to come in and burn the whole town down over a rumor about possibly a guy in the elevator with a white woman. So they burned the whole city down. Nobody did anything about that. They burned the library down. So young black men today don't know the true history of the black history. So I'm just saying, sometimes people feel like they take 2 steps forward and still get knocked 3 steps back.
That's great.
Hard. Can I say something right quick?
Yeah.
At what point are we locally, as a community, going to stop looking at somewhere else and taking it upon ourselves here and change the values here?
Correct.
Good point, man.
And start with the young guys, the young kids that's on the streets. Instead of buying our kids Jordans, buying them stocks.
Right. That's a good point. Good point.
If that's your way.
Instead of putting them in dance camp, giving them some security. Our white counterparts, they're not sending them to dance camp or risk. They're sending them to the gun range to protect their own. What are we doing?
Right.
What are we doing?
That's real.
Those are all good examples. If that's see, we all have lanes. Yeah. If his thing is stocks, he might be able to educate me because I don't know crap about none of that. But what I do know is how to spot a kid that if I check him get this college, I can show you how to get a 3-point stand and work your way to college. See, I can teach what I teach. The question becomes, what are we looking inside ourselves to make sure that we are responsible for all our community for? That's the question.
Actually, right before the COVID, this COVID pandemic had kicked off, myself, my brother, and some other guys had gotten together, and we had went to the Lion King Resort over there and spoke to the owner over there to do Army Reserve type weekend once a month with boys between 12 and 18. And the guy that's over at the Lion King Resort, it's a religious resort. But what I told him was, when we bring these little boys over there or these young men over there, we don't want to talk about nothing about religion, and we don't want to talk about nothing about education in school. We want to fill that gap that they're not getting at home. The things that, how to go about bouncing a checkbook, how to go about, changing a tire, how to go about fixing a car, how to go about those types of things. How to invest, how to invest in real estate. I've been investing in real estate for 20 years. How do you invest in real estate? Showing them my portfolio, showing them the net worth, showing them how you can get this. But we do boot camp. We bring them there on a Friday and we let them go back Sunday. And then the pandemic hit, so everything kind of went on hold.
That's an actual, real, tangible thing that you offer. And I imagine at some point you'll be able to get back to that. That's the kind of stuff we need. Seems like you got something.
Yeah, I'm just saying we can start our churches. We can start our, man, I don't like to start talking about me because it sounds too whatever. But I can look out here and see, boys, I've touched personally, and it's not about, it's just that I feel like I owe that.
Right.
It's not about me trying to figure out how to avoid something.
Right.
I want them to understand that if you can't afford it, I'm show you how to live and be stronger because of it.
Right.
I want kids to understand it's about their strength, not about somebody's impression or that focus on somebody's weaknesses. We all have them. That's not a big deal. We just have to know that, we're gonna end up using this moment to have a whole bunch of dialogue and no direction. Because we don't have an actual prize. We don't have an actual prize we're seeking. We're looking for a place and no prize. We're looking for a place of equality. What is that? Where is that? Because everybody's gonna have a different perception when they feel like they're good. Because we didn't identify what it requires as a bare minimum for us to let up. When is it gonna be met that we have established a point where we take the pressure off? Not when we decide, man, I don't even know where we're going. I went to did y'all go over there? I ain't going. It's like, because you don't know what you're trying to get. Except over here to March. And but what we did was when we, and I'm gonna end with this because I know this will get some people upset. We decided in 2008 that we would take all our eggs out of the experienced, seasoned civil rights fighters basket and put it in the black man president basket. One has fought for civil rights, been beat, been arrested, all this stuff for 50 years. Another one shows up in 2007, gets in office, before he even gets in office, he announced he's running for president. We don't have a track record of anything. We chose not to force him to give us a platform because we said he can't be the black folk president, but everybody else made him be their president. He just couldn't be ours. Right. And no matter what it's going to be, it was going to be for 8 years. Right. Now that he's not that, what do we have? Right. Total disarray. Right. Because it used to be, if you got a problem, you call who? Y'all have forgotten that, Jesse. And you call Jesse, Al Clement. Right. You call Jesse, and he can get 100,000 people ready to march in 8 days. And he's already laid out to the leaders what you want while they're listening. Now, we all leaders. I'm not a leader, I'm just a fighter, man. But I can tell when you ain't fighting, so I don't know how to lead, but I can sure tell when you ain't beside me. I don't know where we're going, except so I direct what I'm trying to go get. So somebody asks, I'm pretty clear. Right. But everybody's really going to fight pretty clear too. Right. But if you're just trying to be at the fight, we didn't yet. Right.
Who fighting now?
Yeah.
Let me just be real with y'all right quick. This real talk. You know, if you don't have to know no statistics for this. This is just real talk what I'm about to say. To me, in my honest opinion, we kind of got this life thing messed up. We act like this is the end all be all. You know, you only got a short window to be here. So while you're here, you should be making some kind of profound impact. And it's in your own way. Like everybody got a lane. So what I'm saying is, when I was just working for Walgreens, I would always feel unsatisfied in my plight for my community and for my people. Not that anything was wrong with Walgreens. It was more so that I kept saying I gotta be here for more than this. So my grandfather always had this community element in him. Many of you guys may have heard of him. If you didn't, his name is O.L. Spears. He passed a few years ago. But me being the oldest grandchild, raised up with him all his life, seeing him just go in and fight. He didn't go do all no great orator. He was not a great orator, but he just get things done. So I guess we pick up some of these things. This is what I want to try to impart to us black men. Okay, we get certain places in life, whatever that is, that's comfortable to us. Whatever that is, we always want to talk about retirement and sitting on the porch, looking at all the things that we accumulated in life. But to me, if you don't touch somebody else's life, okay, you impact your family, your immediate family, as best you can, then it's supposed to be abroad because you're here for a short window. On the blip of the timeline of history, your 75 to 80 years will not even register on there. But what will register is the impact that you created in your lifetime. So if you live the life that you're willing to touch and impact and get out there and work with people in the community, young folks, and pass on something that's valuable to them, then when you die, you still live. But we want to rest all the time like we got 100 or 2,000 years left on this earth. Man, you got an average of 75 to 80 years. That's if you're in good health. You get blessed anything past that, that's a bonus. So we want to get at 48 and retire and act like it's done. Man, we're supposed to be out here until we tired. Miles Monroe had a nice YouTube clip. You can pull it up when you get ready. I adopted this before I saw the clip. It just happened to confirm what I felt about myself. My slogan, 8 years ago, I came up with a slogan for myself that says, maximize me. That means in every aspect of my life, I want to be fulfilling my full potential. That means what I do for people, how I impact people, because life can feel complete until I start helping people. You want to do stuff for people. If you don't have nothing in your heart that helps other people, then you're probably not doing something that's divine. Because everything that's divine is going to always include you doing something for somebody else. So I think that we just got to stop with the, I'm going to take care of my house and my home and get my cars and all that. That's great, man. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But that ain't all we here for. And to me, in my life, I want to die wore out. Whenever I die, I want to be wore out, don't have no more energy left. What are you saving it for? You know what I'm saying? You don't have no reason to be holding on to energy, man. You ought to be wore out. And believe it or not, the more you do, the less tired you are anyway. To be totally honest with you. So that's my real talk moment right there. I don't want to play about that no more. We got to get up and start doing stuff to impact people. Stop worrying about your house only. Your house is fine, but you're not here just for that. Because if you was here for just that, once they got grown, you'll die. Why don't you die right then? Because you're not done. So we got to start doing more. And we got to start caring and applying ourselves. Stop saying you're busy. Because you can find time. Like I'm busy too, but I find time. You got to find time. That's what I really feel in my heart. So everybody got something they can expound on or whatever, go ahead. That's what I want to get off my chest.
That's why we're here.
She ready. She ready. I just tell you.
Yeah, I am. And
Yes,
I receive everything that you're saying, and I'm ready.
I know
I'm
that.
gonna fight it on my level, whatever I can do, not for me, but my community, for my people, for all people. But we gotta start somewhere.
We do.
And we gotta have an agenda.
Right.
Of what we do.
That's right.
Like we said, we talked about a lot of things.
Right.
First it was police. That's a big deal.
Right.
So we got to get everybody ready for our children and our grandchildren.
That's right.
That's why I'm here. Now I have to leave and go to work and stay up all night.
That's right.
But hey, I want to be tired, just like you.
Awesome.
I'm retired from one job,
Right.
but I'm ready to fight.
That's awesome, man.
I'm
Awesome.
ready to work
That's
for
awesome.
my people, not just my immediate family,
Right.
but for all of us.
That's right. That's right.
And it starts right here. It starts with what Mr. Tucker said. Can't just sit back and act like we don't see what's happening.
Right.
But we gotta do something.
That's right.
And this is why I keep focusing on policy.
The stuff we're trying to do is gonna be strangled out if we don't make them take their foot off our wood.
That's right, off our neck.
Because if they get the foot off our neck, we can recharge. But if you run out,
That's right.
there's no recharging. What I'm saying is, we're trying, we get tired so fast because we operate within false constraints. And we get tired of trying because it seems like we don't get anywhere because they just keep putting more pressure on what? If we remove the policies, the laws are already there. Keep in mind, our issues are not laws. Our issues are policies. And we have to start with filing what? Lawsuits. Because complaint leads to what? Lawsuit. Lawsuit leads to people getting what? And then when people get fired, it's just the version of Israel. I can get fired, so I can change the what? Policy. I don't care about his actions. His policy dictate action. And that's when we start paying you all within 5 years, all we got to deal with is, are they gonna get charged? We already know they get fired, we already know the policy change. Now we have to force them to understand that we keep talking about a level playing field. Well, how do you level it? Hey, it's not level. Sir, will you level it? Please? But if you go to a football field and you have any problems, they hear the call, the LHJ say, hey, and somebody gets sanctioned. We don't understand it when it comes to our rights, though. We know we want to kill the referee over the Saints and all that kind of stuff. We say they're wrong, everybody, but then we don't understand it's about, that's not a law. They want the policies changed. They can start doing all this stuff in the NFL, and guess what the NFL does? Changes what? They don't have to change the law.
You got something, Pastor Tucker?
You know, along with it, I appreciate what Ms. Rose said, what you said, ours. You know, we all seeds, different communities, and we need to be planted. Right. You know, to bring forth a harvest in our different communities. Right. You know, my concern, why I talked about Vegas, why I talked about dim vision, you know, working at Hammer High School, I'm working amongst the youth. Right. Mindsets. How do we help with their mindsets? Right. Because until we value us, fighting ain't even worth a fight. Right. Until we value us. Right. And listen to what I'm saying. I'm not talking about something I heard. I'm talking about kids that I'm sitting in the classroom with, that I'm walking in the cafeteria with, that they're fighting one another and putting it on video and dancing about it. Right. And I understand, I absolutely hate when there's a cop kill a black man and then someone bring up the fact, well, what about black on black? I hate that. But with us, it's all inclusive. That's true. Because if I can change my mindset of who I am and have value of myself, then I was worth fighting for somebody that looked like me.
How about this? You talking about something at school? You know, I taught school too. You know who I checked?
And that's just a
I want to give you. I just tried to address that. See, you know who I checked? I checked teachers. You see, they got a whole lot of teachers that don't want to be teachers. But see, what I'm saying is, we keep talking about the kid. We got to be an example. I'm not talking about you. I'm just talking about. I'm about to get in a fist fight with a coach in the hall because of the way they're talking to kids. Because they are just grown. Kids take on whatever energy you give them. You're talking about, literally at school, kids take on the energy they're given. Not necessarily by you, but I guarantee your kids, they do what? Just over a period of time, your kids, you don't have any problems, do you? So that's the answer, is check the teachers. Check them, because I'm not talking about about money. Everybody chooses their profession unless they just ended up there. If you just ended up there, the real problem is the way they deal with the kids. If you're talking about the way the kids deal with them, I'm not talking about, we can always go there, one kid in the back of class, can't nobody do no with. I'm not talking about that one.
Can I?
The rules.
I respect you so much. But my thing is, how many now, that one kid that used to be in the back of class, like that's more than 70% of your class now.
I bet it is. I bet it is. But guess what? Those are the same kids that come to high school and play football. Why are they so governable?
That means there's no teacher control.
You see, I'm talking about teacher love.
Elementary school, 5th grade. And it got to the point I was the only black man on campus. And I taught in a low income, Zion City area, Baton Rouge. So the majority of the teachers there were Caucasian. It got to the point where I told the principal, instead of putting those kids on paper, because the teachers didn't want to teach them, send them to me. I started off with 23 students that morning. By the evening time, I had 50 kids in my class. Every day. And I got burned out on them because they did not want to teach.
My mama's 83 years old. My mama's 83 years old. She retired from teaching 3 different times. And until COVID, she volunteered as a foster grandmother 4 days a week at Duke Rock. By the time she leaves school every day, all of the kids want to go home with who? Miss Williams. I hear what you're saying. I just can't have an appreciation for kids running something because they take on the energy that they get from us. And if the people that are in charge of that don't love what they're doing, it can always be about what the kids are not following on paper. I don't even have to be on a coaching staff. I ain't gonna deal with that kid, the same kid that cussing out all the time. Come here, let me talk to you. Those kids are not out there if they didn't want to be successful. I'm talking about the same kids that grew up in this, they're just terrible. All of these terrible kids, 7% of them. But how is it that they do so well in situations that require discipline? Because they feel like they are part of something. They feel like it's actually directed, the energy is directed to their development, not proving to them what they didn't get at home. Too many people talk crazy in front of kids. Now that kid puts up a wall. If a kid hear you say something, I got no home training, boom, there it is. Because that was mean. That was mean. I was the GOAT. I wasn't going. I stayed without a class with a good mama. But I got with teachers that started really challenging me and embracing me. That's the point I'm making. We got to remember when we were in class, we keep looking at the burden it's causing, but it's the profession we chose. And we already know what it is. We come up with answers. I'm not saying you, but I'm saying if a whole lot of people care the way you care, let's say that you get 15 teachers on campus feel as deep as you feel. It's not about what how the kid you meet him, it's how you leave him. Your job is to develop him. Period.
You know, one of the things that we've gotten away from in schools, and I ran for school board in St. Louis Parish because it hurted my heart so bad to come up there and see these 3rd and 4th grade students just failing, the school failing F. If you don't get it in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade, you're lost because those are your basic foundation years. So I ran. So one thing I saw that didn't happen when I was a kid. When I was a kid, the teachers were from the neighborhood. They knew you, they had an investment in you, and they wanted you to be successful. And if you was bad at school on Sunday, they was at church. Your son acted a fool at school all week, and mama gonna take you home, and she gonna whoop your butt. She said, if you come back and tell me again, I'm gonna whoop your butt again. When you get to school on Monday, you acting right. So we have to invest in teachers that in the neighborhood that know you, that have your best interests at heart. You know, up there, we was talking, and they would say, well, how do you improve it? Well, you improve it by increasing teachers' pay. I know it's going to be, you know, I know it's a challenge, but you just have to figure out a way to do it.
Make it more attractive.
Make it more attractive, and interrupt that schoolhouse to jailhouse pipeline. Because the same kids that's failing in school on Friday evening, I was available up there for a year. The same kids that you see failing in school, you see them in criminal court on Friday. Because they're not learning anything. And the kids that's acting out in this class, they're acting out because they're not learning anything, they're not being challenged. When you challenge their mind, they don't have time to think about nothing else. That's the issue. We're not challenging our kids.
I can tell you that I'm a push. I don't want to talk about it, because I know you guys have to. Because I could talk all day on this.
Go ahead.
Because I get to my house, man, they got kids waiting kids got the gate code to my house. I can't get my suit off.
Right.
And I'm talking like, it's like, life is simple.
Yeah.
Man, you'll see parents use extracurricular activities to punish kids. You're not gonna be able to play this, you're not gonna be able to do that. You gotta understand, life is about being versatile. You have to be able to be multitask. If you take the things out of your life to make him be able to focus on one thing, when is life gonna do that? You have to be able to teach a kid and keep him in a situation where he has to budget time, budget energy, and have to have repercussions at home for failing to succeed.
Correct.
They have to have repercussions at home for failing to succeed. Not being told they don't need to try something because they ain't succeeded at this. What is his gift? When are you gonna find it? When are you gonna find it? It's like I see kids, I go to a high school program and say, why you let this? They say, man, you gonna bring him out here. You want attention? Shoot, I'm gonna give you some attention. Get right in this drill. If you like attention, we all looking. Now let's go. After a while, it ain't funny to them no more.
Right.
And they don't like me and embarrassed. I'm not trying to embarrass him. I'm trying to make sure he understands that what he's doing, all that talking he was doing, they got out here that he might not have respect for, they can do what he thought he could do. Now all of a sudden, he started realizing it's about more than talking. But coaches run the boys off. Well, I ain't gonna ruin. Well, that's not true because you change all kinds of stuff for the ones you want. Don't talk about what you're not gonna do. This ain't gonna ruin. That's a lie. That's what I'm saying. Like we come out here, we play favoritism with our own kids. I'm not gonna play favoritism with any kid. That's the point. If a kid wants it, it's our objective to figure out how to help him get it.
Right.
Outside of the curriculum.
Correct.
How many have taken them to, how many people just spend their weekend taking kids to colleges? How many of us? We keep talking about jail. You load up and get a program where they go up and see what's in jail. How many of y'all take it Saturday and take a kid to see that all this cutting up and dancing they doing over in Southern? They'll be in class Monday. Look, they son, come here. Let me show you something. That boy right there, come here, man. What do you major in? I'll be an engineer. He doesn't know that.
Right.
How many kids here don't know that the boy dressed like a man and is just doing shirt off is on his way to getting a degree? They think you can grow into that. You don't show up a man, you become a man.
Right.
But we have to take them to see other people in that cocoon.
Right.
Don't just take him from here and figure he doesn't deserve a cocoon and put him in the trash.
Right.
We create classes ourselves. Who doesn't deserve? You don't dictate that. Man, I went to school in Southern with guys that had gold teeth all the way across their mouth, coming out of New Orleans. And maybe in mind, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I ain't going back down because I'm gonna get killed or kill somebody. By the time we left there, they went through a whole lot of struggle. They done pulled them out of their mouth and then march it. There are boys that come out the projects in New Orleans off juvenile detention, all that, and leave as engineers. You just got to sit here and fight for him.
Right.
And if he can't fight no more, fight over him.
Yeah.
We keep sitting here trying to, make him understand he doesn't deserve no more than what he shows he deserves. We didn't earn what we got. We got here by grace.
Right.
We didn't earn half what we got. It's something our mama did that they gave us favor. And we want these boys to earn. They ain't got to earn nothing with me. Nothing. I would have been nothing with my middle school coach. Absolutely nothing. I had no self-esteem. I had no daddy. I had no idea. And I was a quitter. But he thought I wasn't. So I kept trying to fool him until he fooled me into becoming that. Come on, man. How many of us forgot who we really are?
Right.
We're all fine on who you dressed up to be, who you became, but when you were that age, either you were the one they were picking on or you were picking on them. So why are you mad with him being either one? Either you were the bully or getting bullied during our time at that age. And you were going to crack the, if you could get a laugh, you don't care who you cuss out, you don't care. At least I didn't. So how are we now governing them by what they are? We have to have a plan. Once again, we have to have an end game for every kid we touch, other than a curriculum.
Looking at it from a broader perspective, dude, if you look at it like on a timeline perspective, you know what I'm saying? I know they say technically we were slaves for about 240 to 50 years, then you had to go through Jim Crow and all these different eras that when they still wasn't treated equal. Some people just round it off and say 400 years. So for the sake of numbers, we're gonna say 400 years. So about in the 1960s when they was fighting for civil rights, my era, my generation, myself, Jeremy, and Amy, 90s, we missed it just barely by about a decade. But they were still fighting to be equal of rights that they passed in the 60s, but they still didn't transition smoothly with it. So if you look at it from a broad scale, and you look at where you are in timeline where we are today, we 50 years removed from quote unquote marching for civil rights every day. So if you look at it from that kind of perspective on a historical timeline, is it fair to say that possibly we just in the infant stages of progression as black people are being starting the race at the goal line equal together? Because if you look at it like that, maybe in another 150 years, we see ourselves differently. Will I get to see all the advancements that I think our people will? Possibly not. But what we got to understand how to have is the foresight to know that what I plant today is going to come to pass, maybe when I'm not here, but we always want to see results from what we do now. But when a lot of our ancestors were singing hymns and praying, and they already knew they wasn't going to ever be free in their lifetime, but they did it for us. So what I'm saying is it possible that maybe we so short-minded that we expect for 400 years of travesty to be replaced in 50 years of being quote-unquote on equal footing. So what I'm saying is, from a historical perspective, do you think that possibly we expecting too much too soon? That's to make it simple. Go ahead. Go ahead, man.
I understand what you're trying to say.
Right. I'm just putting it out
I
there.
agree with you on this.
Go ahead.
Because your grandparents, my grandparents, and the majority of our grandparents were technical parents, and we can go nationwide.
Right.
In the 50s, 60s, and 70s, you had black doctors, you had billionaires, Dr. Walker, and
Right.
You had people that had values, and they placed their value. You had a lot of African Americans from this state went to Chicago and California,
Right.
and got good jobs.
Right.
Our values changed somewhere in those years, and they died off. And until we get our values back to how theirs were, it's not gonna change.
Gotcha.
So it's not so much that we're backing because of 400 years of slavery, because we had these values as a people. We lost them.
I'm just really saying is, do you think there's enough time to make up the ground that we lost with those 400 years? But go ahead, Tucker.
You just said you're not done until you got it.
Right, I'm just throwing a question out there. Correct, right.
You got time.
Correct, go ahead.
All of us got time.
I understand exactly what you're saying. It's a trajectory that way, to where we are progressing. Again, that's why my heart is in a lot of Mr. Tucker. I respect him highly, and me and him go way back, But that thing about education and it's the teachers, I have to respectfully disagree. Now, do we have that? Absolutely.
Right.
Did I see it? Absolutely. Did I even call some of it out that I was able to see? Yes. But some of that is coming from home.
Right.
And we have lost values at home.
That's true.
We can't blame that on the teachers when a kid come on the first day of school and lay his head on the desk. That has nothing to do with that teacher. That is a black kid's mentality. And then when you call home, the mama cuss me out because he sleep.
That's right. No accountability.
So you can't know that ain't a teacher. That's bad mentality, and we have lost our value. That's exactly what I've been saying the whole time. We don't value ourselves anymore. And I'm talking as a people. Because me, I love me.
Right.
But I'm talking about as a people, we've lost value. We've lost that sense of these black civil rights leaders walking with suits, declaring our rights and declaring, but it's affected not only by laws and policy. I love that, Mr. Tucker. It is about policy, but we've been affected by customs. Not only the Jim Crow law, but it was the Jim Crow custom that the black man has to walk and cross the street if a white man is walking along the sidewalk. It's customs that have trickled down, and those who had to fight in them, they're dead now, or they are old in an old age. So we now, our generation, have to be the fighters that they were, and I think we lack that. I don't think we have enough fighters like we had. Now, Mr. Tucker already showed the show. Me and you will fight. But how many more do we have that have that mindset? Okay, I'm going my brother right here.
Them two right there, see what I'm trying to say is, once we go and fight, we don't have to keep talking about it. When it's time to fight, you start fighting, and the ones that got it in them, it's gonna come up.
I just don't want to blame everything on the external problem. I think some of it is an internal problem.
This is what I'm saying.
It's our mindset and our hearts.
I got you, and I totally agree with that. What I'm talking about is, as a teacher, you are far more powerful to put teachers in check that are out of line. You will get a lot more mileage out of getting on teachers that ain't worth trying to do nothing. As a teacher, as a parent, I can get with other parents. But what I'm saying is, we can't keep throwing it across the bow. If I'm a coach and a coach cusses the kid in the man, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. So I'm saying I can check my peers. That's the only point I'm making. When you're in the school system and you're in that capacity as a teacher, they have to give you the room to put them in check.
Correct.
And let me say,
But a
I'm
parent,
not a teacher anymore.
I'm saying,
But I was there, I believe, to see that.
all I'm telling you is that changes things. And if you can get teachers to get to put off the nigga, I'm not talking about every teacher. I'm talking about the one I talk to and say, I'm in Greensburg, man. I see people that don't have a heart for the kids that need a check.
Right.
And they're like, that is totally stupid. Hey, whoa, don't do that. Don't do that. You don't want to be here, go somewhere else.
Correct.
I totally agree.
That's the only point I'm making.
Because the kids.
Because the kid, you're gonna address the kid, but you can't get the kid mind off the way he's getting handled.
Correct.
Hire what you can afford. Go back to what you said about funding for the school system. If you provide more funding for the school system, you can hire a more quality teacher. You get more funding from the school system, to go back to what Tucker said, from the police department.
But here we
You
go.
fund that police department and you put that extra money into the school system, you don't have, then you have educated kids, which have a more opportunity to make something of themselves, which cuts down the crime.
They're choosing to fund police because they say the kids won't learn. It's all, the money is going to the kids, but it's going to control them, not develop them.
Yeah.
But we have to make sure that we have the right narrative, because when it sounds like this, it means the kids out of control. So we do need them to do something with them. If it sounds the other way, then we got this. That's my neighbor's kid. Call a man over here.
You know what?
At home, not at school. You go visit at home.
If you listen to the governor, when you listen to the governor when he says the budget is short, and the only two lines, I don't know if you guys know this, the only two lines in the Louisiana budget when it's short is education and health care. Those are the only two lines that he can cut. Everything else is protected by the Louisiana Constitution. Until you get out there and get your representatives to go in and change that Constitution to where they open all that stuff up, they're gonna always cut healthcare and education. Every time the budget is short, if you listen, they cut TOPS, they cut education to the school. It's because those are the only two lines they can cut.
I want us to get so serious about education that we know somebody knows something about everything.
We have to go out there. We have to go out there and fight for education.
Well, we have to become educated, not just degree.
Yes, sir. I see.
We have to go out there and fight. We have to fight.
But before we go out there, we need to become educated, so we know when somebody beside us ain't saying what's right.
Correct. Correct.
It ain't what you're told, is what you know.
Correct.
You'll be surprised how quick you can align people that y'all get really quick. You go.
I was gonna say also, I think a lot of it has to do with social media too. Like we've lost our objectivity also. It's like we can agree on 9 out of 10 things, but because you don't agree on that one thing, it gets you is we're not really like we talk about the previous generation and stuff that had that fight, and they were always able to come together as a collective. So they always had it in there, and they was able to come together as a collective. And I feel like you said you'll have this person doing some kind of over here, you'll have this person doing this over here, but it should all be intertwined. Like we should all be benefiting from each other. Like I feel like it's a lot of.
I think it's pretty much saying that one difference of opinion stop the whole overall cause. Because we expect and we wait for everything that we saying, for everybody to agree with everything. And what you really saying is that back then, it's not that they always agreed on every point, but they knew the main point was important to come together as one. And I get that, because we do get hung up on one or two issues from a person's point of view, and we'll let that stop us from getting involved with anything that they're doing. And all we're supposed to do is be able to come together, talk about that, and let's move forward. So I do understand that.
And we do a good job at it. Don't be dismayed about the past either. That's not the way we want to remember history. Do you understand when Dr. King died, he couldn't hardly get churches no more. What I'm saying is we keep wanting to look for a perfect place that never existed.
Correct.
You got Malcolm X people over here going this way. You got Dr. King people going over this way. You got the preachers books on that they ain't going nowhere. After Dr. King spoke out against the war, they got him, he couldn't get in any black churches. It's not like we think it is. All I'm saying is, you gonna put up, you go on the wall, you pack your bag and you go. And if I call Bam and say, Bam, you come, I say, well, if you don't want to come see if Scooter or Lindsay will come with me. But I'm going. And they say he crazy enough to go. See, you got to have a reputation of following through what you say matters to you. And there'll be people that you can call and they already know, bruh, I ain't with that. If I come, I already know how you roll. Let's go.
Right, that's true. That's what I'm saying.
But we don't have to have them come together. It's like this. I say it all the time. If I see big fella sitting here with a flag, but he's sitting in the car. All of us see the car got a flat tire. He's sitting in there, and it's in the rain. Why would I stop? Because he's sitting in the car. He got the flag. He don't got the problem going where he's trying to go. But if I come through there, a big fella out here trying to get his tire, he's running, guess what I feel compelled to do? Get with me.
That's right. That's a great one.
We have to go on and start doing what matters to us, and who we matter to will come with us.
That's true. That is true.
Quit trying to make yourself matter before you move.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
That's it.
A lot of times people be looking for the perfect launching point. Everybody will be on one accord when you know you've been given a vision. It's your vision. You're supposed to jump out on it. And then if it's your vision and you know it's come from God, then He's gonna bring people along with you to help you do it. But a lot of times we be waiting for everything to be in perfect place. Like you said, it's not always gonna be there. You might start a church with 13 members. But if you know
See,
the vision,
it's not always, it's never going to be there. The only thing that you're going to be successful at is what matters to you.
That's true. That's true. I know this has been awesome, man. I don't want to hold it. We can go on and on all day long.
We go off the air, keep going.
But what I will do, that's what I will do. That's what I'll do. Before we get off, I want everybody to give a 30 to 45 second lasting commentary on what they would like to leave the viewers with, or maybe summarize what you want to leave them with. But whatever your point of view is, leave them with that before we wrap up the show. And like you said, we might keep talking when we go off air, but let's just do that for the sake of time and for the sake of people watching. So I'm gonna start on this end. Just any 30 to 45 second lasting commentary that you'd like to leave the viewers with as we leave this show today.
When you ask the question about where do I see black people being, and I said, that's bleak. And the reason I said that is because until we get criminal justice reform, until we get the education system together, until we get our economics together as a people, and actually realize the power of our money, we're not going anywhere. Those four issues to me is top priority. Education, criminal justice reform, economics. Those things are very important to me. Very, very, very important. And unless we understand the value of our black dollars and don't let nobody disrespect you and still give them your money. Period.
Money talk. All right. Joe.
I'm only implore to make sure that we find something that we're willing to champion, even to take it to our place. Not together. We got to same last name. He might bring up something. I don't really care enough about to get up at 11 o'clock at night to do. But if he called me and tell me they got a boy that's in trouble, it can be 2 o'clock in the morning. That was me. I'm going. But that was me. So I got my own passion. All I ask us to do is find out what it is that we're so passionate about that we don't have to talk about it. And you'll find your way into our solution, because all of those are problems. That's it. That's just women. You might be about other than women. Find it and be it. Embody whatever it is. You'd be surprised how it changes everything. Because a lot of stuff I don't care about. I don't care about a lot of stuff enough to go out here and spend a lot of time. When you start talking about kids, boys, and I was going to be.
From my point of view, what I would hope that viewers got from today's show was that they got a different background perspective from different black men. We all black men, similarly, same plight, different way to get there, different background, different appreciation for aspects that are pertinent to us. But at the end of the day, just do something. You know, you can sit around and think all day and plan and plot all day long, but if you keep on planning and plotting, you don't never execute, then you're wasting your time planning and plotting. So sometimes you just got to start somewhere, find, like he said, I'm piggybacking off there, find that true passion that you have. Some people are community activists by nature. Some people are just those mentors by nature. Some people are teachers by design and nature, not by check. They just want to be that person in the community. Whatever it is, I think we just need to go ahead and find it. Stop waiting for a collective effort or united front from all black people in the United States of America. Just start where you are. And I think if you do that now, a few years down the road, you'll be able to see some of the benefits of your hard labor that you do now. That's my take.
What I take from it is that, George is going to be pretty much on my line. And so it's like, and they understand I'm a very opinionated person. Now, what I believe is what I believe. You ain't finna stop me from believing it. But what I take from today is that I took a step back from that. And I listened. And what that tells me is that we need to take more time in listening to other points of view.
That's true.
We don't, per se, once we draw a line and saying that's it. And as long as we continue to do that with one another, we can't see what's over the horizon. So for me, all of them know me. We're in the barbershop, we doing real talk. I'm going to talk. I'm going to tell you what I got to tell you, and ain't no ifs, ands, or buts. But as I was sitting here, I said what I needed to say, and then I sat back and I listened. And I learned something from what you said. I learned something from what you said, what the audience said. And I think as a people, if we don't take the time to listen to one another, that goal that you forever chasing, that destiny that you forever chasing will always be you running behind it because you had to listen to nobody but yourself. Your opinion matters. But realize one thing for sure, it's not the only opinion. And if you get two people in the room, they're unbeatable force versus the immovable object, ain't nobody going nowhere. And that's basically summed up what George said is what he said. You can't keep fighting amongst yourself trying to figure it out. Y'all had a debate as a teacher and as a teacher. Classroom football field.
And classroom.
And classroom. He taught school. I taught school. But it wasn't my passion. I did well at it, but it wasn't my passion. My kids still run up on me, and I'm not even from here, and I'll see kids and like, Mr. Brown, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Because I took the time and said, I'm going to dedicate myself to y'all 45 4th and 3rd grade and kindergarten, 4th grade. I'm teaching all these in one room. And what that told me is that you're trying to take these kids straight from the subsidized housing they live in, the trailer park they live in, and send them right back there. And on my way there, so let me take my time and do my part. And I feel confident in that. I see them down the store. Now what your grades look like? Okay, look. Here go your money, man. You have some boys because I'm pay for that. That's my part. But it's also impossible for me to do my part if I'm not listening to what your part is. Or what your part is. Or what your part is as a collective. Because guess what? Hey man, I'm doing an event Saturday. I need a football coach. Hey man, I'm doing an event for that Saturday. I need to organize. I need an IT guy. We have to incentivize ourselves to promote our lanes. Is basically what I'm saying. It matters. It matters to my son. It matters to my daughter. We talk a lot about our young black men. The daughters matter. Every time I'm talking, I ain't seen George since about 2-3 years ago, but I can flip through Instagram and I can see little mama on there, and I'm like, yeah, he rocking with her. Because that's what we are. We are the fathers of young men and young women who have to continue to live in this world long after we gone. So that's what I got.
My last point I want to leave everybody is, like I say, family structure is really important to me. I come from a 2-parent household, and you see that effect with a lot of guys that you might have played ball with, went to school with, and you see the difference as time passes by. So if you have children, you need to be in their lives, have that connection with them. It all goes back to the family. You have a strong black family, then you have strong communities. If you have a strong community, then you have a strong nation. And something I like to say, the greatest asset you can have is relationships with people. Your relationships is going to make you or break you, and it can take you in all different directions in your life. Your relationship with one person can change a whole perspective on life. Like Mr. Tucker said about that middle school teacher that he had, that middle school coach that changed that perspective. So when you die, the only thing that's going to be left is the impact that you had on people and how you affected their lives. So, like Ms. Floyd also said, you want to have that impact. You want to go after whatever it is that you're passionate about. And when you do that, there's going to be other people that you affect on the way. It's people that's watching that you don't even know that are watching that you want to have an impact. So you just owe it to yourself. You owe it to your family, you owe it to your community to go after whatever it is that you're passionate about and lead others along the way. Now, everybody has different forms of leadership, but in one way or another, somebody's following you, somebody's following in your footsteps. So I say just take time to always cultivate the relationships that you do have with people, and don't be afraid to go out there and build new relationships.
Awesome, man. Leaving in conclusion, something that I always say, and I guess when you are creative, if you write, come up with little cliches that you adopt all the time. But what I always say is that leaders never ask to lead; they are usually asked to lead. Without further ado, remember that it's not about being liked. It's not even about how people feel. As long as you make sure that whatever you say, you bring passion, you show respect, and most importantly, you keep it real. And that's another Real Talk Human Discussions in the books. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please tag and share.